Hello, everybody. Welcome to another special episode of Who Do You Think You Are podcast, episode 148. Until we get into the fun, we're going to start with some business up front. Search any platform at WDUTUR pod and find us. Like, subscribe, do it all because we love you and we want your love back. Hey, CJ.
Hey, Nick.
Who do you think you are? Hey, everybody. I am Nick, and the CDC says you can put your mask away, but I'm keeping mine up because I'd rather suffer through the inconveniences of wearing a mask and not be confused as a conservative.
Yes. And I'm CJ, and I've been fighting with a bunch of liberal cucks online all week. Follow me at CJ Talks Funny on Twitter, and you can see what's been going down. It's been wild.
And over here we have mi amo is Pedro. ¿Cómo estás? He's gone, dude. He's missing.
We don't know where he is.
I'm pretty convinced that since me and my boy over here are vaccinated, he's not allowed to hang out with us anymore. So he's off the podcast.
That's it.
And
you got to be vaccinated or you're off the podcast.
Yep, exactly. Well,
but this was no coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know what was that about.
It's authoritarian.
I feel like we have to be careful now.
Authority.
Now that it's only two white guys, we have to be a little bit more careful about that kind of stuff because we don't have the leeway anymore.
That's true. We don't have our token brown guy.
And it's also been a rough week for white people.
That's true. It's been really hard on us, dude. Ask Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, his friend Tony. I mean, everybody, dude.
Yeah.
Even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's.
Agree or disagree?
Agree 100%. I mean, what's to disagree with?
Are people still following this guy? Are people like still diehard Joe Biden fans? Or am I just living in Arizona and I'm around a lot of conservatives?
I don't know one person that's ever been a diehard Joe Biden fan.
No?
Not a real human being, no.
Oh, I know a lot.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. Where are they?
But I don't know if they're diehard Joe Biden fans or if they're just like, they lean into the Democratic Party.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's what I feel like because like I was a legitimate diehard Ron Paul guy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I loved Ron Paul for what he had to say and what he did and everything like that. Also, I mean, it's hard to really call that populism in any kind of sense or like fanfare because his message is so like ubiquitous. It's so emphasizing on freedom. So that's a little different, I suppose. But like, I don't know anybody that's ever just been like, Joe Biden is so brilliant. He's such a strong leader. Like nobody's ever just said any good things about him. It's literally just not Trump. Thank God.
Yeah, well, that's what's funny though too is like there's all these sound clips that always come out. We play them on our show, luckily, and I find them on World Star Hip Hop. But it's just funny to think about all the clips and things of everything that Trump ever said that people would bring up in the news or in the media. And the amount of things that Joe Biden says, just like, wow, this guy's out of his mind.
Yeah.
And he's our president. And before, I mean, I'm not saying that Trump was a great president either. Obviously, he was fucking out of his mind too. Well, can't we just come together and be like, all these people are out of their mind?
Yeah. Like, not to go back down this trail again, but can't we call a spade a spade?
I mean, this is what happens. This is what happens when two white people get together in a living room, and that's what happens. We moved from the studio into my living room, where your guess is as good as mine if I've masturbated here or had sex here more.
Okay. Which was more?
Yeah,
probably masturbated, right?
No, actually, no. Surprisingly,
really?
not.
Okay.
I don't like to clean up. I don't want to jerk off on my couch.
Well, I didn't smell it first, otherwise I would have been able to tell you.
Yeah. Is that Dial soap? French vanilla?
Quick shout out too, because I missed it, but I do want to give a quick shout out to Matthew Snyder for being awesome in the comments, getting people over to us and subscribing. Shout out Luke Snyder for saying what's up and looking for those crumb bums and bozos. Hopefully you already figured out you found us. So thanks, and big shout out to Dave and Jay versus the World because they're the shit, and going through one over there.
What's a crumb bum?
It's just like one of these. I'm not really sure. I imagine
this isn't.
Oh, I was gesturing towards myself with a pen in my hand.
Oh, like a crumb bum. It's Yeah,
it's a crumb bum.
Like a dingleberry, I would guess.
Right. I think it's like a bum who does things for crumbs.
Well, we would. We do anything for crumbs, dude.
I do.
Well.
But you're right, though. I think that that there's obviously a discrepancy between the way that the media handles Trump versus the way they handled Trump versus the way they handled Biden. Like we've got this, beauty little clip right here, and I know you've already seen it, but I'll just hold it up so that we can see it again because it's pretty stupendous.
I'm going to step on it. I'll come off at 80 miles an hour. You'll see what it is, okay? You ready?
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No, you can't. Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing. Okay, here we go.
Oh, he was only teasing.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Okay.
wait, what did he say? Can I ask you a quick question about Israel?
Yeah,
He said step in front of my. That's spoken like a true Palestinian. So, wherever you stand on that, it is what it is, and that war is always going to go on, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Hasn't it? Like it didn't go away in the last 8 years, right?
No, I mean it does seem kind of peculiarly timed, a little sus that it was that it's suddenly picking up so strongly now, right as we're about to pull out of Afghanistan.
Yeah. But also, that's the thing. Has it been picking up, or has the news been picking it up?
Well, it's definitely picked up right now. There's been a huge clash between Israel and Palestine in the last 8 days or so. 212 people have died in Palestine.
I'm just curious what those numbers are like months ago, too. I don't think it's 0 deaths.
No, definitely.
You know
not.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, schools and maybe hospitals, but I think maybe even some of that happens, it gets kind of pushed under the rug. But when it becomes a focal point, it's like, all right, now let's focus on this.
Well, it's emphasized because Hamas has been firing like more rockets into Israel than before. It started with.
I love hummus, dude.
I know, dude. It's so good. My favorite's the spicy red pepper.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude.
Spicy red pepper Hamas.
Shout out,
Allahu
spicy.
Akbar. But so I mean, it has picked up. It started with apparently there was prayer going on in a mosque. I think it's called Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Can you recite that for me, please?
Recite the prayer?
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. That's surprising for you. I thought you'd go there.
It's the two white guys thing.
Yeah, true.
It's too many. And the Israeli police force came in and apparently supposedly broke up what was going on in there because people were throwing stones. And then just fighting broke out as a result of that. And so Hamas started firing rockets into Israel. Israel launched the Iron Dome. You want to see some video footage of the Iron Dome?
Sure.
I've cut together a little 50-second clip here.
Wow, that's some real incel shit right there.
Yeah, buddy.
You want to see this super clip?
See the super clip of the Israel-Palestine war I made?
An Islamist movement, Hamas, have been firing rockets into Israel, and Israel has responded by hitting targets in the territory.
Sounds like Pedro.
So you can start to see that's the Iron Dome at work right there. That's missiles that they're firing up in the air that track the rockets as they're being fired in.
Holy shit.
And then it explodes the rockets before they can land. Is that not some...
sounds are so terrifying.
I mean, this is some biblical shit.
Yeah. Well, it is technically biblical, right? That's what they're fighting over.
I guess so.
Suckers.
And then this was... so Israel bombed a building, actually 3 towers in Palestine, one of which was housing the Associated Press and Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
They gave them an hour notice beforehand to evacuate.
That's nice. They give them an hour notice, dude.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
didn't do that for 9/11, so shout out George Bush.
¿Quién crees que eres?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I take back all the hummus jokes and everything we just joked about.
Did you just refer to me as White Devil?
It's it's terrifying, dude. And imagine stepping out of your door and then hearing those sounds of sirens and just it's a different world, man. It's hard for us to really dive into like how terrifying. And I mean, they also are like fighting for their gods. They're fighting for their right to live somewhere and not to be sent to concentration camps. I mean,
right.
It's an insane thing going on. And I think Joe Biden, he says that we should find peace, and he's got it all together. So I feel like
yeah, dude, he seems like a reasonable voice.
Yeah, I feel like he would be the person that brings the two together.
Yeah, if anybody can bring peace to the Middle East, it is Joe Biden.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yep, 2020.
So yeah, we resolved that issue. I think that's all going to work out pretty soon. It's going to keep. I mean, there's going to be no resolution, right? What?
I don't know. I mean, there was an unprecedented peace deal when Trump was in office.
Really?
Between the two of them, yeah.
Wasn't there still stuff going on during Trump administration?
For sure, but like during his last year, there was some peace deal that was unilaterally praised. He was actually being talked about he was nominated by a few people for the Nobel Peace Prize because of it.
Yeah, but they were all in quarantine, so they're in lockdown. Then he did the Peace Prize. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
So
yeah, so I guess maybe China deserves the Peace Prize for that.
I think they should deserve all the peace prizes, dude. Oh yeah. And then so back to the masks, dude. The CDC says that vaccinated people don't need to wear a mask anymore. Mm-hmm. But it's so interesting to see when people want to listen to the CDC or to Fauci. Like, why are people still clinging on to it? So, like, I would imagine that first day when I saw that, it was such a breath of fresh air. No metaphor not meant. That I would imagine everybody would be going out everywhere being like, I'm finally free. I'm finally free. Like, but nobody's like that. No. I still see the same amount of people driving in their car with their masks, wearing it to these places. I see these, when I opened the show, I made that joke about being like, I'm vaccinated, but I'll wear a mask because I don't want to be seen as a conservative. Like I've seen multiple tweets or things like that being like, I don't want somebody to think that I'm a Trump supporter, so I'm going to keep on wearing. Yeah. And you're like, I don't that's this whole thing with this whole virus. It's like it's so lost on me of where people stand with this whole thing. Like I'm so. How
have people allowed themselves to be politicized over something like that?
But it's also like they're so comfortable in it. Like why are people clinging to it so much? I mean, like, are people so afraid now?
What else do they have to cling to, dude?
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, I like, what else can you do? But I mean, these are the people who would be, like touting which Marvel movie character they are or whatever in the meantime. But because all of this stuff has been put on hold, they have nothing. And the big good versus evil battle that they've been told about all year is Donald Trump versus all the decent people in the world. Like,
yeah. And also they're like, I just started an Etsy shop with masks and I don't want those masks to, I need to sell my inventory.
Yeah.
Or it's also like, I've spent money on all these masks, to accessorize, and I don't want to just throw that away.
Right. Yeah. You were just starting to look good in the mask too. Like you started to figure out how to really accessorize.
Yeah. I was seeing this girl and she didn't do anything with her mustache for a long time and she got used to that. She didn't have to bleach it or take it off anymore. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. And that's where the culture's going.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're basically turning Muslim.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
With any luck.
Yeah, slowly but surely, dude. We got Tesla driving the cars so women will stop driving. They're covering their faces with masks. I mean, what's next, dude? Cutting off the clit? I don't know. I've never seen a purpose for one.
Yeah, no.
It's never worked for me.
Same.
So, cut them off.
¿Quién crees que eres?
Speaking of dating, dude, now that we don't have...
What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, so now we don't have that fucking married piece of shit in this room, dude. Yeah. Let's talk about some single bachelor life, dude, because there's this weird thing that I'm seeing on dating sites. Are you still doing any of that dating site mumbo jumbo, dude? Or
I'm about to start again now that I've got a little extra cash in my pocket.
What do you mean cash? Do you got to buy these girls off spending money? Dude?
No, I was literally poor and have no spending, have no what's the word I'm looking for? Expendable income. So
yeah, you just go to the park and feed ducks bread, dude.
Yeah,
but dude, there's
so for that. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, what dating site do you use or would you go on to meet people?
Bumble.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been on there for a while and I kind of go on and off of it. And it's so weird now too. It's become this virtue signaling thing that people's bios are vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's all they say. It's and then it's that's fine too. I'm glad, fine. If you find safety in it, and I don't think it's going to kill you and you're going to grow a fourth arm or anything. I don't want to coddle my immune system. I've been an essential worker this whole time. I've been exposed to it. Mm-hmm. It makes me kind of furious to be okay, now you have to get vaccinated now that everybody else wants to go out in the world. I'm like, well, what about me this whole last year? Yeah. You didn't give a shit then. So it becomes this thing that seems so silly, but dude, it's so strange because these people that I meet, it's their whole identity is vaccinated and an interest, Black Lives Matter, and Asian hate, LGBTQT, and that's fine. not that I don't agree with those things, but that's not like my jumping off point to be like, hey, what are you all about? Black Lives Matter, dude. End Asian hate. I'm like, well, yeah, I would assume so. I would assume that like you're like,
we're all about that actually.
yeah, like exactly. Like, is there nothing deeper than that? Like, do you not like records on any movies or books or anything you're interested in?
Or like, oh, how long have you been doing that?
Yeah.
A year?
Exactly. It's like, this is your identity. It's like, I'm vaccinated and I support these groups. It's like, that shouldn't be your personality.
Yeah.
These should be things that are like fun. It's like this was like the whole gay marriage thing for me, like 15, 20 years ago, like growing up in Seattle, people being like, yeah, and like we gays should get married. And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why are we like, it seems silly to be like still even talking about that, to be like judging people against it because like I don't come out where it's just hard to like, I'll meet somebody, then that question comes so quick, like, are you vaccinated or not vaccinated? And I actually had a situation with somebody that happened with, and I was like, oh, well, sorry.
So you said no, and she said, oh, I'm not going to hang out with you then?
Yeah, it was very, it just completely flipped the script. Like we were talking and then everything was going well. And then, yeah, I'm just, but it's also like one of those things I'm like, well, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I also have to change that part of my brain where it's like, if that's where you're aligned, we're never going to work out anyways. Yes. But it just, I'm like, why is this happening to our society? It's strange to see this happen though, too. And it's making it hard to meet people. And I also just feel like half the people I swipe for are like bots or robots. And I'll be on my phone. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And all of a sudden I'll match with like 3 people, like Bumble hears me or something.
Right.
We have a couple of quick sentences that like could be generated to keep me on the website. And it's like, I'm also just like, I think this is all fake.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about it. Like, number one, I'm terrible with those things. Like when I first downloaded that stuff a few years ago, I like talked about how I was a homeowner and loved my dog or some bullshit. Like terrible.
Why is that terrible?
Because nobody cares.
Well, that's better than saying vaccinated and
it's the same. It was the pre-pandemic version of vaccinated. Yeah, it was just like, because everybody does that. It's the same thing as, vaccinated is the new tacos.
Yeah, but okay, I get that. But being a homeowner and having a dog or something, that is a little bit more into depth of like who you are or where you stand than being like pro masks, swipe left if you vote this way. Like,
but it was a badge, it was just here's my badges of personality as opposed to just saying anything.
But that's all online things though, right?
Yeah.
That's like all, like, how do you write a bio then? How do you say what you're interested in?
Make jokes.
Do you? Like what? Give me one.
Literal jokes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll do one of the like lead-in things and I'll just try and write a joke off of it. Like, if I was president, I would order the Chinese food to my mouth.
Hell yeah, dude.
Something like that.
If I was president, I would wish for peace in the Middle East, dude. How's that for a joke?
That's sweet,
pretty
dude.
good.
It's actually pretty sweet. It's a sweet joke.
Yeah, maybe I should go back to I think that's what I should go back to too, is like the joking around with it and just being like whimsical with it.
Yeah, because people want to have fun.
Yeah. Do they? Do people want to have fun, dude?
They say they do.
I don't know, man. I'm just lonely, dude. So shout out. If we got any listeners that aren't men, and if you are a pretty man, I don't know, man, that'll be fine.
Yeah. Men, women, single, married, whatever it is, we're desperate.
Yeah. Anyways, dude, it's been a long week. I've been sick as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So I
had a little ear infection and like just
urine infection.
Ear.
Oh,
infection.
Different.
And yeah. And like just like felt a little, shitty for a few days. Had a migraine, but I always have migraines. Like, what was going on with you?
Well, I had a migraine too for about 6 days. I think what happened was after the wedding, I've just been on a tear, just drinking and partying, and then also since like work's was miserable the last couple of months, like my depression, like I just been on this like spiral of just not good, just like gassed out, running on empty. So I think this bug finally hit me on like sleeping only a couple hours a night and stuff like that. Then it finally just like last Wednesday we recorded a song and we were like doing some video of me like doing the vocals to try to like just have some teaser or something for it, and we used our smoke machine that like we haven't used since our last show, which was like last March, and I was like, fuck, my like throat feels weird. And I was like, was it just like the smoke? And like, I probably shouldn't have been breathing that in, and like, it hurt. And then Thursday I woke up after also partying that night because, I was like celebrating, like, yeah, we wrote a new song. And I was like, I thought I was so hungover, but I think the sickness started happening. And then it was just like, dude, I had like this migraine, light sensitive. I had this like pulsation behind my eyes I couldn't sleep. I was like sweating, cold. Like I never had a fever and I never lost my taste or smell because I was kind of paranoid that it was COVID, obviously, because I was just at a wedding with like over 100 people and people all judging me there that I wasn't vaccinated. Like, oh, I can't believe that. Like, and they talk to my parents, be like, I can't believe your son, like this, it's crazy, dude. It kind of like hurts my feelings though too, because it's like I feel like there's like have a conversation with me about like I don't know, but yeah, I had a lot of like relatives and people that were very upset that I wasn't vaccinated. But isn't that why you're vaccinated?
Yeah, like people, you don't get to make medical decisions for other people. Remember, like if you can get vaccinated and be protected for yourself and your family, that's the end of the conversation. Now you don't get to tell me about what I do. Yeah. Like since when is that? Like, you know, my body, my choice was a whole thing that you guys were all obsessed about for a while.
Is that so funny?
Well, it's pretty funny.
Flip around. No, yeah, that's true. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Cunts.
Yeah. But I mean, those are all the people that are going to be clinging to the masks for the next 10 years too. And those are the same people that go to a restaurant wearing a mask, sit down, take it off. And then you don't feel like that's...
I'm still hanging on to the idea of just like, you do you, I'm going to do me. Yeah. I'm not going to wear it. And, you know, and if I do wear it somewhere and you look at me weird, I'm going to say, fuck you also. You know what I mean? Because like, don't judge me based on whether or not I'm wearing a mask or whatever, or any other medical decision I decide to make for myself, you know?
Have you gone stripped off now that it's like open places now? Like, do you not?
Yeah, I usually will go without it, but if it says, you know, please wear a mask here, then I'll wear one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I still bring it, you know?
Right. Just in case, dude. Just in case.
Yep. Justin Peterson.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. We're talking about too much. We need that Hispanic dude over here, man, because, you know, we can get a little more racial. It's getting serious. We're talking about the Middle East, masks, vaccinations, being single, dude. What is this?
I don't know.
WDUTUR, baby.
Yeah. Something about having a married guy around kind of helps bring some levity. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just that we've got two depressed people on one podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
This is too much downward energy.
Actually, that's a great point. So not going back to like being sick and feeling terrible for this last like week. What's so crazy about this is I had this thought like 3 or 4 days in. I was like, so fucking miserable. I'm like, I'm so over this, dude. And I'm like, if I had this sickness like 2 months ago and I put a fucking belt around my neck when I thought life was so bad, I'm like, this fucking sucks. Yeah. You bitch. Like you kind of forget like how bad like or how good life is, and you're like, oh God, like I would do anything to have that feeling now.
That's what mushrooms are for, right? I mean, you know, and DMT and everything. Like, if nothing else, at least by the time you get back to baseline, you're like, wow, this is actually not bad. Yeah, like this is pretty manageable.
Yeah. So my sickness was my DMT trip, I guess, that I needed. Yeah, that was my ayahuasca. I saved money on going to a jungle somewhere, and I just got a jungle fever.
There you go.
Well, it's a different jungle fever, but I have both. Jungle fever. Yeah, but I had this. I was just so like, God, I just like I was appreciative in a way, being like, if I'm just feel normal again, I'm like don't. I don't know. It's hard to bottle that feeling and remember it though sometimes, because I haven't been sick. It's been over a year. It was like last January. So it's been a long time since like I felt like
I'm
that.
pretty sure I got COVID in September, so I was sick then. And yeah, I don't know. I go like a few years at a time, and then 1 year I'll just like catch all of them.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to me last year, because I got sick like 3 times in a couple weeks. Yeah. It was miserable, but I think it was COVID too. But I'm not going to be that person to be like, oh, I think you know what I mean?
I mean, I had all the class, like everything all the regular, you know, I was dead tired just getting up off the couch to go to the bathroom, and, you know, I couldn't smell or taste anything for, you know, a week.
Is that an old thing though too? Because I didn't feel like I ever had like body aches or like low energy from being sick. And then so that last year when I got sick like that, and then this time I was like, I've never felt like depleted on energy. And I don't know if that was because, you know, still like working in a hot kitchen and wearing a mask, and it's already like hard to breathe when you're like congested, and like, is that why I feel like tired too? Or is it because I'm like detoxing and not sleeping that like I feel like worn down too? But like there's this weird sickness to me this time that I was like, I felt like lethargic. I've never been like that my whole life. I'd always hear people be like, man, I feel so sick and my body like is tired, and like I feel like it's just been recently that I'm like, God, I feel like beat down from it, dude.
Yeah. I always, I used to get upper respiratory infections a lot, and I would always get like a fever with it, and body aches all over the place and stuff like that. Like that just sucks. But I do have less energy now as I'm getting older, and especially in the last couple of years, I've really noticed it. Where like at night, if I'm tired, I can't do stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have to just go lay down and be done.
Right. Yeah.
And that was never that way before. I could stay up for days, if I wanted to.
Just getting older, right? That gets, your body's like taking more energy to try to kill this virus or kill off the Chinese food or whatever it is going on, dude. You just feel a little more, it's just worn down, dude. It sucks, man. Getting old, bro.
It's just another part of it. I was thinking about I look at, I don't know, I've seen pictures of people who are old now when they were young. I can't think of anybody who I was looking at, but like, I just see pictures of like musicians from back in the day, like Sarah Vaughan, a really great jazz singer. Like you see pictures, like I was watching a performance of hers from back in the day, and she's like young and youthful and beautiful, and one of the best singers ever. I mean, she's got a great voice, and so you're just looking at this little moment in time of hers, and then on the Google search or whatever, you can see like some live performances from when she's older, and just like stuff starts to go on people, and you're just like, wow, like one of these days, like if I make it that far, I'll have like whatever youth I've got left, and it's fucking diminishing by the fucking year. It's all going to be gone. And I'm going to be like, like I was watching Adam Carolla on Fighter and the Kids, and like his fucking like hands all jank and his hands were real shaky. I'm just like, damn, he's getting old, bro.
Yeah. I mean, and that's got to happen so quick too. Cause like even just thinking of being like this, 32 years and how quick that goes. Like I think like, Keith Richards or something like that. Like I'm sure he would just like all of a sudden he like looks in the mirror now. He's like, how did this happen, dude? You know what I mean? Like it had to be like such a, especially for him. Cause like it's been such a fast life, but I'm sure with anybody, I'm like even looking at like my parents and like that. I'm sure like even my dad or something who's like, when did this like gray hair? Like I remember it just being one and now it's all gray. Like, everything's fleeting, dude.
Absolutely. I grew up with real shitty teeth. Like my teeth were always real crooked and shit. They like rotted and fell out when I was a kid because my parents didn't take care of them. And so everything grew in real shitty and just never got taken care of. That's why I had to get braces as an adult. And just as I get my teeth straightened out, my hair's starting to fall out. So it's just like, it's like I strove for like a little bit of vanity for a minute, and it's just like, fuck it, dude, it's all going away.
But also it'd be worse if you didn't have your teeth straightened and then you had the fucked up teeth.
It would be rough.
You look like me, dude. Shout out.
My shit was bad, dude. It was jacked.
Yeah.
Well,
dude, adult braces are hot, dude. That's one of our top searches on YouTube. So WDUTUR adult braces, dude. We talk about it. We get into it, bro. Because you started the show with adult braces.
Yeah.
That's why we brought you on, dude.
Because of how sexy it was.
Do you think girls with braces are hot? That's a strange thing that you see sometimes.
No, I don't.
Would you like date somebody that had?
Yeah. I just it's not a turn on.
Yeah.
It's what I think about is like how annoying it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I do because I had them for so long.
Yeah.
I had them from like 4th grade to like senior year.
Okay.
It
Damn,
was miserable.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Because I like...
Yo, that's wild, bro.
Thanks, Pedro.
Yo, that's why. Like the enthusiasm in his voice. So he couldn't show up, and that's the he puts in. So you know what? I'm glad you didn't show up, Pedro. Piece of shit.
That's all you were going to give us?
What the fuck you talking about?
All right.
You can come back on the podcast if you get vaccinated, dude.
Yeah.
Just get the Johnson & Johnson, dude. It's one stab, dude. What's the worst that could happen? You don't have to tell your wife. You can sneak the shot.
Yeah.
You can sneak other things. That'd probably be worse if he snuck the vaccination than cheating on her.
Yeah. What if he snuck what if he sneak vaccinated her? Yeah. Like in her sleep.
Well, you've mentioned that before. If like you went to the hospital or something like that, and you like, or a car accident, and you woke up and like vaccinated.
I still have fears about that.
Yeah.
I think about that like almost daily, like at least once a day.
Because I totally would. Because if you're going into a hospital, they'd be like, "Is he vaccinated?" Yeah. Do you think? I mean, I know this isn't like a popular thing to talk about. People hate talking about, but like, do you see like the passport thing happening now that like this whole like going to places without a mask?
They're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying. There's definitely some people who are invested in that idea,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Do you think it's going to happen?
I think it may happen in some places, but it's going to get too much pushback, and, you know, that might be part of what inevitably sort of starts to fissure the United States. Like
Pfizer, you mean?
you might, I mean, as long as the federal government, it doesn't start to overreach its bounds, it will be tempered down by the states. So if everybody starts moving towards having vaccine passports, there will be some states that do not, you know, Florida, hopefully here,
Yeah.
you know, Texas. So that's where the people who don't want to give the government control of their, you know, health information will go.
But what happened with like herd immunity? What happened to like a certain percentage getting vaccinated and then the other half being okay to be these wild spirits? Like when did that completely like get demolished too?
It seems like it's just been the usual slippery slope that government always does, which is
It's like a trick.
Yeah, it's like, well, here, you know, what can we gain out of this crisis, right? Every crisis, what's that quote? Every crisis represents an opportunity, something like that. So I feel like it was just, you know, here's what we can enforce and get away with. And they tried to push it, you know, too far and they got pushed back on. So there's this like co-tension here between what people will tolerate and what the government can get away with doing. And it's just that it's whatever wins and losses each side has had in that battle. Unfortunately, it seems like the government really has had more wins. As far as that's concerned. So just like little things start to creep, like the mask becomes normal.
Right.
Social distancing becomes normal. People don't want to go back to work now. Like if you look at it, I mean, Joe Biden and the entire, you know, establishment has been terrorizing us into our houses for the last year. And now he wants to come out and be like angry dad, you know, like you better be going back to work now. It's just like, what do you mean? I thought that was the place I go where I die or kill grandparents. Like,
and I love how like Biden always has like it always hanging around his ear, like the fashion statements up. So it's like, it's just like, dude, before we even started, I saw like an NPR article. It's like, all right, herd immunity's out the window. Everybody needs to get vaccinated. It's like all this science seems like it's changed. Like,
that's not science.
Exactly. But it's like, but these are articles that people then just start sharing and posting, and then you're made into the enemy. And I think that's the thing. It's like, we're just seeing this separation of people more and more. And that's actually what I get bothered about more than anything. It's like from the wedding and being like, why isn't your son vaccinated? I can't believe, like, why wouldn't you just get like, and then going like you're a conservative or like you're a pro-Trumper, or like
it's cult behavior.
It's completely, and it's like it feels very strange being on that side of it, being like.
And the thing as being a symbol, like they have all these little symbols, all these words, and all these gestures, all these little things they do, like with the mask hanging from the ear, in order to signal to their in group that they're part of the in group. Like that's cult behavior. That's exactly what they were blaming Trump for, and they're doing it. I mean, you know, look at Biden. You know, we've got travel bans, the wall's still getting built, and he's, you know, telling journalists he's going to run them over. Like, it's feeling like the good old days, dude, you know?
Well, I was even in the driver's seat, by the way, in that video, though.
I don't know. I thought they revoked his license.
I don't think, there's no way he drives. Like, was he just playing?
I mean, they're in the middle of the desert. They're like, it can't get much safer than this.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, although it is pretty dangerous putting a senile person behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Well, also, like, the president doesn't drive.
Yeah.
Like, what does he do? I don't get it. Maybe, like, they asked him that question, so he just, like, went straight to the car. I was like, I got to get out of here.
Did you notice when she asked him that, as soon as he said, like, I'm not going to answer it or whatever, and then he said, now watch this, she was like, okay, Mr. President, let's see what you can do. She was, like, so, like, cheerleadery.
Yeah, it goes 0 to 80.
You're just like, what, dude? Like...
Yeah, isn't that, like, a serious question that you should be answering?
Can you just imagine Trump sitting in the front seat of a truck with his arm out the window? This baby's going 0 to 80 when I floor. You'll see. Just watch. Shut up, or I'm gonna run you over. I'm just kidding. Boom! Like,
it'd be everywhere, dude.
Yeah, like that would not be that video for sure.
Welcome, Noki.
So that's crazy. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck them all, dude.
Fuck
and you know what, dude? I am a conservative, okay? Family at the wedding, dude. And you know what? I am a pro-Trumper and I'm an anti-masker, dude. And even though I've been wearing a mask this whole fucking time, I'm just tired of it. Like, why are people not tired of this behavior? Like, why don't people just want, like, that's the thing. Yeah, we do get comfortable with what we get set in, right? It's like that's staying at home, not having the social pressure to go out to a concert, to go to these places. Like,
remember when Alan Watts talks about how you got your identity? He's like, you know, your aunt tells you that you're a good boy for doing something, or, you know, like it's all this constant reinforcement of who you are in relation to who everyone else is.
No, my aunt was very disappointed that I wasn't vaccinated, so I'm still sorry about that.
But it really, like, so if you look at what they've done over the last year to change public perception and behavior, it's that same thing. Like, they're telling you, they give you a pat on the head when you wear the mask, or when you say Black Lives Matter, or when you know, whatever it is, when you show your I voted sticker, you know, and it's just like all these little pats on the head and this reinforcement until eventually, like, your behavior is entirely different than it was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's all just reinforced socially, so you have no question about it. Yeah.
Okay, what I'm hearing from you is you're giving me a challenge, and like, it's a social experiment, and I'm going to accept it. I'm going to go to my Bumble profile today. I'm going to change my bio, fully vaccinated, swipe left if you support Trump, and then in my interests, I'm going to say Black Lives Matter, end Asian hate, LGBTQC, and then let's see what kind of patty cakes I'm going to get, dude. Because you know what I mean?
Wait, is right? Okay, no,
I was
swipe left if you voted for Trump. So yeah, I thought you were saying, you know, you're going to give them both directions at once, but you're saying you're going full left.
I'm going full left.
And you see what happens.
Let's see what happens, dude. Okay. Let's see what kind of baby girls I'm going to get, dude.
Yep. Let's get a progress report next week.
Should I do it?
Yes.
See what happens? All right, let's
Absolutely.
see what happens.
I'll jump back on there, and, you know.
Do the opposite?
Maybe.
Because there are some on there that would be into that too, that are like conservative.
Yeah.
Anti-mask, don't even swipe if you wear a mask.
To be honest, I'd rather be with like one of these like conservative Christian ladies, because at least they have a set of values, you know, that we can talk about. Like,
I go back and forth with that too, where I'm like, I don't know what I would want, because I think I don't like either idea.
Yeah,
I don't feel like either idea is like.
But which one's going to raise your kids better? Well, maybe you don't care about that.
Well, who's going to raise the kid better? Or who's going to be able to be like, well, we don't have to take care of them as much, you know, just leave them in their room and hang, you know what I mean? Who's not going to care as much would be kind of nice. So you can still go to the bar and like, oh
yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, totally.
But no, the conservative would probably, well, is that true? Do conservatives raise kids better than liberals? Is that a hot take?
That's a good question. I don't know. It was my intuition though. That's definitely what my intuition was. Because they're more involved. I mean, liberal idea about having kids is that it's gross and that it's like oppression. Yeah. And you know, conservatives' idea is that they want to have kids and
let the baby choose its own gender. You know, let it choose its own identity, dude. You know.
Yeah. So like, I feel like I'm liberal enough that I can have a, you know, really conservative woman, and like we can find some balance. I feel like
that's where I stay too. But I feel like most people that are like claiming they're a conservative would be like moderate, that I would get along with. Yeah. Rather than being like pro-Trump, being like wearing American flags, like pictures of guns.
I love a gal that was raised conservative Christian, who is now just kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of think about stuff and decide. Yeah, when I think about it.
Does anal for sure, dude.
Yeah, that'd be.
Even though I'm not into that, dude, but if they were into anal, I don't know. I feel like that kind of weird me out. Have you ever been with a girl that was like super into anal?
No.
Hell yeah, dude. I remember you.
I'm not really much for the anal.
Yeah, it's gross.
Pathway
I don't understand that thing.
Yeah, I have like a high disgust sensitivity though.
Look at the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Why do you want to look at butthole gaps?
Ugh. That's the worst.
Like what? Like what is wrong with you?
It's one of the worst.
Look at how stretched out that asshole. Yeah. It's cool.
Oh god, I just remembered a fucking cam girl anal thing I saw this week that was horrible. She pulled this gigantic thing out, and there's all this fluid, and all of the fluid is tinted red, and I'm just like, you're gonna die.
Typical conservative,
Help
dude.
Yourself. So gross, dude.
Creepier not anal gaps, dude. I think we already solved it.
Yeah, dude. It's creepy, ladies.
Where does that come from, though? Is that just
trauma?
Is it? What kind of trauma, dude?
Serious trauma. I don't know, dude. Boundary setting. It comes from not having boundaries and from the inability to set boundaries.
It's probably even more of like, I bet you what it is, if I could guess, it's the guy getting turned on that the girl's like pushing it this far, right? He's like, wow, she's a freak. Like if she does something like that much, like she must do anything or be like, oh.
I was thinking about it from her side. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know from a guy's side what the appeal is either.
But what would hers be?
It's so tight or whatever. Not in terms of appeal, but what it is in terms of like psychologically, like why would a woman get there? I feel like, or anybody, why would anybody get there? It's because you fail to set boundaries, and then people want to push your limits, and then eventually
you have a huge, but I guess it's like gauging your ears.
Yeah.
Shout out Pedro. He had huge ears. So I'm sure he has a big anal gap.
Yeah. Like if the government started saying you have to gauge your butthole in order to, fight COVID and to prove that you're like, an anti-Trump guy.
People will do it.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, dude. Think about all those big buttholes.
Try not to.
Next topic.
I don't even know if I really have a thing.
I know it's been a weird one, man. Like I said, dude, I've been.
Do we talk about what happened with Mr. Hinchcliffe?
Let's talk about it, dude.
Okay.
Tony Hinchcliffe, comedian extraordinaire. I've seen him live 3 times. Hilarious. I've seen him walk people every single time that he's been in a room.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him at CB Live, he walked a table of 5 ladies because they were obnoxious, and then when he started engaging with them, they were very upset and stopped engaging with him, and then just like that drunk girl that like fine, and they just all like stormed out. So funny. He's so funny, dude.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But he should be
rest
canceled.
in peace. He was lynched this week by a mob of angry lesbians.
Well, rightfully so, dude.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Asian lesbians.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, pending. Did you see his TMZ interview? They interviewed
no, I didn't
him.
see his interview.
Yeah.
I heard. I like just saw some quotes. I saw a quote of his that that he said that he didn't confront Tony because he didn't want to step on anybody's ability to speak freely or whatever. So instead, he just waited a week and then posted a select little clip of it in order to burn his fucking career down.
I guess give a little backstory for people. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Well, Tony Hinchcliffe was at a comedy set as a secret show, I believe. And a host was, doing a little bit of a set before him, really leaning into the end Asian hate kind of.
Comedian Peng Dang, who Tony has had open for him before.
He's been on Kill Tony before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this whole set was about Asian stereotypes and, victimization
white guilt.
Currently.
And white guilt and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I think there was some white guilt stuff in there, but it was mostly, he was doing Asian stereotype jokes, Peng Dang.
Yeah. And then so then he brings up Tony, who comes on and says the C word.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good thing to say. It went in pretty hard, calling the crowd race traitors and stuff like that because they were laughing.
So very obviously he's coming out and embodying the thing that Peng Dang was just joking about.
Exactly. He's
He
becoming that
comes
character.
out and becomes what Peng Dang was just saying, which is a twist. That's what a joke is.
And what Tony does.
Yeah, also.
And if you're aware
he's
of
the
him,
heel, like a professional wrestler. Like if you watch professional wrestling and get mad or upset, then, I see why you're mad at Tony.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you're a child.
Yeah, so he comes on saying all this stuff. He's worked with him before, so he knows this is kind of comedy. He's trying to push people. He's trying to make people upset. Yeah. He's trying to rile people up. Also, this is completely improvised. He didn't write this down. Yeah. He didn't say, how can I be like, you can swing and miss, or he was.
Yeah, I mean, he had zero tact.
Yeah,
we can all admit that. But yeah, that was the thing. That was why it was funny.
Exactly, and that's also just comedy.
Yeah,
and also he didn't think he was being filmed. Inside on the video, the audience was laughing.
Yeah.
People that were a part of it were laughing. The internet wasn't laughing.
Right. So what happened, to complete the thought, is that Tony goes on to just have a normal set. A couple of the girls in the front of the audience were mad at him or whatever, as per usual, apparently.
Yeah.
And a week goes by, and then Peng Dang decides to post it, and he posts a 30-second clip, 36-second clip, something like that, of just Peng introducing Tony coming up and saying, how about a hand for the filthy little fucking C word?
Yeah.
And then he posted that with happy, Asian Pacific Islander Awareness Day or something like that. And that just, lit a fucking firestorm. Tony got, the place that he hosts Kill Tony is not going to allow him to come back. And he got dropped by his agency. Like, it's just nonsense.
What's funny too is when you like text the tweet or something in our group there, and I was like, yeah, dude, but you're getting into this, and I'm like, they're not going to cancel him. I'm like, that's like, I was like, that's not going to happen. I mean, this is just another. I mean, because I love the Legion of Skanks, and like he's on there, and like they say far worse things than this on a weekly basis, like, and they go way harder. And they've gone way harder already on this whole thing where it's like, so they're not going to cancel him for this. And then, then sure enough, like 24 hours later or some shit like that, I was like, wow.
Yeah. I posted something under it immediately just saying, this is nonsense. And like, he's obviously joking. And then people are like, what's the joke? There's no excuse to ever use a racial slur. So then I started posting pictures of the Clayton Bigsby skit from Chappelle's show. Oh yeah. You remember where he's the blind he's a blind black white supremacist?
One of the best skits of all time.
Exactly. Yeah. Co-written by a white man, by the way. Yeah. So it's just like all you people who have no idea about what comedy is, just shut your mouths. Like you're looking at a 30-second clip, jumping to a conclusion about it.
In a clip that was clipped to look for his advantage.
Yeah, specifically. I mean, when you watch the whole thing, which Ari Shafir posted, and you can just go watch the whole thing and see that there is, in fact, intent and context. Yeah. And that the intent and context changes what you thought you were seeing from just the 30-second clip.
I'm sure it'll all come around though. It's wild to watch it actually all unfold for somebody that like, you're like, wow, this got this big for
somebody who also, by the way, like presents a national platform for comedians of all backgrounds. Right. There's people of all nationalities, genders. He literally promotes women. He goes out of his way to get female comedians. Which is crazy. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm more upset about.
Yeah. I mean, he literally burns his own show down at the end all the time trying to just get women to speak.
He'll be like, we haven't had a woman come up yet, so let's pull a woman from the bucket. I'm like, I'd rather hear Pendang do a comedy set.
So I mean, like, you're going after the wrong guy, dude. Like he's literally like playing the bad guy in a professional wrestling set, and you're trying to fire him.
And funny enough, Tony loves wrestling, so maybe he's happy to be that guy.
Right.
But so he was on, or Pendang or whatever his name is, he was on TMZ and they were interviewing him about the situation. And it was so interesting watching this video because it's like he's saying it from this room, like just being so victimized, being like, oh, I just can't, like almost like cry, like, dude, you're fucking aren't you a comedian? Like it was I hate that side of like our culture and society of, I don't know, fucking pussies,
clout chasing, dude. Yeah, you're being a huge pussy in order to get points. You're playing a victim card.
It just stop playing the victim about like things that aren't made to actually like victimize people. Yeah, I understand real hate. Like he wasn't in a Walmart parking lot screaming at some Asian guy, calling him the C word,
beating a Asian woman in the street.
Yeah, he was on a comedy stage trying to be funny. Yeah, he wasn't trying to like, all right, you know what, dude, I hated what this guy just said, so I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna be racist. Like, this is my time to let my racism fly. Right. That wasn't it. He wasn't at like a sports bar.
That's literally how people took it.
Right.
I got that exact thing online from anonymous fucking pussy anonymous accounts.
Yeah, I mean, if he was at a sports bar or something like that, and that all went down, that'd be a completely different thing. Yeah, but it was a comedy set that was clipped out.
And people tried to compare it to the Kramer meltdown where he said the N-word. You know what I mean? Like, not the same at all.
Yeah, that one was funny.
Yeah. Even then,
actually, don't I kind of like, I'm aware of that, but what happened?
Well, so Cosmo Kramer, what's the guy's name that plays him? I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
He was bombing at a set, and he started getting heckled by a black guy in the back. And he's like going back and forth with the heckler. He's not like being funny, and then all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, well, you're and he just starts calling him the N-word a bunch of times, and everybody gets upset. He walks half the room, and then the whole room, once everybody realizes the show's over, and he just walks off stage. But it's like, even then, maybe he was trying to be funny, but it was very clearly
from a place of hate.
Like, yeah, like you know, you're not playing a guy, you're just screaming at someone.
Gotcha.
You know, like you're in anger.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Tony Hinchcliffe was going out and playing a character.
Right. And like, if you watch the whole set too, like, I mean, he's funny, dude. I mean,
yeah.
And he's winging it. You know, it's like whimsical. He's relaxed. He's like, I don't know, dude. I think to discredit somebody like of his, like you said, of like bringing people to on his stage worldwide of all different ethnicities and handicaps and anything.
Michael
like,
Lehrer, dude. I mean, you know, who else would have given that guy a chance? And he's fucking hilarious.
Right.
You know, like,
yeah. Fuck that, dude. Fuck
so
him, man.
Fuck everybody that is trying to burn down Tony Hinchcliffe. You guys are fucking gay.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, yeah. Oh well. It'll blow over. Just like with anything. I think what it is, it just lines up perfectly with like the end Asian hate or these hashtags, and it's like so people just it's like clout chasing, but it's like hashtag chase. It's like he's like, oh, all of a sudden I know that this will work.
That just
because it's
reminded
trending.
me really quick. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Very good.
But also, I got attacked for how's that smell, baby?
I actually don't really smell it.
Really? A lot of the responses to me defending Tony were, like, oh, you're defending this fucking racist. What are you, his boyfriend? And it's like,
really?
Oh, good job, dude. Way to defend racism with homophobia. Thanks.
Well, yeah, it's like the same thing of like going against a white, like you white piece of shit, or you gay white guy. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you're like, hold on, wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Are we defending civil rights, or are you just finding an excuse to be a cunt?
Well, it goes back to your whole like my body, my choice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. People don't actually care about what they're talking about, and they have no intellectual conviction. They just want the opportunity to blow up on somebody and be dominant over them because they have no fucking meaning or control over their own lives.
Yeah, as long as it lines up with like the top trending hashtags, like that's part of your top 10, top 8 things right now. So that's cool. Yeah, dude, I couldn't smell that marijuana, but since I haven't smoked or drank for a while, like what's funny is like when I do smell weed, like around this apartment, I usually don't smell weed that much like when I'm smoking all the time. I don't know if like I'm just like, I just don't pick up on it. But when I'm not smoking, I'm like, God, that smells so good. Like nothing smells as good as weed.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. Like when I tried to quit smoking, but I didn't want to, like when I got that girl pregnant, my roommate was still smoking. It would just creep through the vents and then come down and just be right on top of my nose, dude. And I'm just like, how is this possible? Like couldn't escape the fucking smell of the smoke. And it smelled so good.
So did you stop smoking and try to be a better person?
Oh yeah, I stopped smoking to get a job. And also I just was like, I'll be more productive and shit like that. And,
yeah,
you know,
how'd that work out? I don't know what else we got, dude. We're kind of nearing the end here, man. It's been like I said, it's been a weird week. My sister got married, so shout out. That was fun. Besides getting judged by everybody, I gave a speech, which was a lot of fun because I haven't been on stage or anything in so long that I realized that I'm a stage whore and I love attention. But also, there's something about killing that just feels so good, like making people laugh and just like having that energy, you know, like. Yeah. Man, there's something about it, dude.
Yeah, getting a laugh just feels good. There's
it does.
Nothing better. I mean, we talked a little bit about this off mic, but I come and do an open mic with me.
Yeah, I'm down, dude. I'll do it. The thing, like,
WDUTUR hitting the open mics.
Open mics,
out,
baby. What are they gonna say? Speech, but also that was one of those cool things too, like doing that speech, and then where you see kind of like the work that you put into these things, like with music. You know, I've been working for so many years now, and being on stage and becoming a performer, doing this podcast for 3 years. You know, like weekly, with or without you, Pedro. But like,
what the fuck you talking about?
But it was cool to be like, you see that work pay off, like that comfort of like improvising and winging it and like sitting and leaving silence and like expressing yourself with like hand gestures or like just being comfortable as like a performer. Like I really felt that, and it was cool to like get that feedback from people too, being like, where did that come? Like, you know, who was that?
That's awesome.
So it's cool to like see that work also, like, because sometimes you don't see it when it's like week to week you do this, like begrudgingly or not. Like sometimes you're excited, sometimes it's like you had a long week. But it's cool when like you see these things like pay off and you're like,
and we probably don't tell you enough, like, and I don't know if it's the same all the way around, but like when me and Pedro are walking out and talking about how it went or whatever, like, we'll come upon like certain things where we're just like, yeah, he is really good at that. Like just, whether it's just coming up with shit on the spot or how quick you are, or, like Pedro's embodiment of characters and stuff like that. Like, like there's all these things that you maybe don't get feedback on because nobody's talking to you about them. It's me and Pedro talking about it and then going, Nick's so good at that,
Yeah.
So
you want to keep me humble, dude. Humble pie, dude.
Well, just as far as like doing it every week and not really feeling like you, it
growing
doesn't fulfill that same thing as when you actually have somebody in front of you.
That's what it. Yeah, I guess that's the big difference, right? When you actually like on a stage or something, you see people cheering or whatever it is, and now it's like, you get a comment from somebody, you're like, oh, it does mean a lot. You're like, oh, cool, somebody is watching or listening, like because. But just as a performer, somebody like enjoys doing this kind of stuff. It's good to know, like to see that's like you are evolving or changing, because even if it's like having a day-to-day conversation with somebody I just meet or at a bar or something, it's like it's cool to be like socially working out on communicating
100%.
And that's something that I've learned from this.
And that's probably part of the whole thing of your extroversion too. You think you're an introvert, but you're probably a little more extrovert than you believe.
Probably.
It's just, maybe you're shy or something, but like you do get recharged from that social interaction as long as it's the right kind.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I think it is. And I've heard somebody explain like the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. And I don't know who said this. So Dr. Seuss maybe, but how they explained it was that like, okay, let's say the introvert has three chips. Mm-hmm. And then when they go out, it's like that chip's taken away. And then like the longer they're out, and then they go home, then they need a certain amount of time to recharge and get those chips. And an extrovert, they have 0 chips when they're at home. They have to go out and spend a certain amount of time to like get these chips and then feel like fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And I feel like after I'm exerting myself out, like my chips are taken away and like I need like, that downtime to myself though. So I don't know, it maybe an ambivert in a way, but
yeah, it could be, because also if you were in too much, then you would need that outside thing to feel like you did something. Just like how you're saying, you were glad that we were doing this today instead of taking the day off, because at least, we're getting something done, or, it's a change of pace.
Right.
And same for me, like if I'm not doing this, then there's sometimes a chance that I'll stay inside my house or my apartment complex for days.
Yeah.
Just because I've got everything I already need here. There's no reason to go out. And then, the only thing I'm seeing is the inside of my like 400 square foot building. And it's just like, ugh.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it gets, yeah.
So it's good to be out and doing stuff like this. And I haven't gone and really performed in a long time. The last time I performed was in class a couple of years ago when I took music class right before the pandemic. So 2 years ago, I guess. And that was kind of interesting for that same reason where, the nerves were there, especially because like I've never really been a singer, and I was in class voice. So I was, singing in front of people, and that's it. And there's nothing to hide behind, no guitar, no fan, just looking like a maniac or any of that. You just have to stand there and sing.
Yeah.
But to see other people who were much younger than me, but much less experienced, the nerves, the way they overtook them, and much more talented than I am, by the way, like a lot of people who can sing a lot much, much better than I can. But, like watching the weight of that like anxiety and that pressure and that inexperience like weighs on them versus me, where I'm like, okay, here we are again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that pressure motivates you too, right? There's like a fuel to it. Or it's like I feel like you should always kind of be a little bit nervous.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even before we do this, I'm like, I don't fucking know what we're gonna talk about.
Some people get knocked off the track by the nerves.
Oh yeah.
Some people they sit into it and
just roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes like I remember who said this, but it was like a dumb sports thing I've actually like heard before, where like it was before like a big game, and like it's the whole thing of it going in positive, being like, yeah, this is what I do, and just the whole thing about this is what I do. And I used to like say that to me before I would go on stage, like to play music, being like, this is what you fucking do.
Yep.
So it's like, why are you gonna be like You can go up there and be nervous, like, because I'd be like, oh, I'm going to break a guitar string. One of my cables on my pedals is going to go out. Like, all these worries would be like, this is what you fucking do.
Yeah.
And then own that, like, that energy and be like, you can use that energy, be like nervous and like you said, kind of teeter on it and then be like kind of fumble things. Or if you go and being like, this is what I do, I know what I'm doing. That energy is completely rechanneled. You can channel any of that energy however you want.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's something you kind of learn the more and more you do these kind of things, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the thing my vocal coach taught us was, this is the fun. Well, she said just have a mantra, but my mantra is this is the fun part. You know, all that fucking doing it over and over again, practicing and getting ready for it was kind of, tedious. But this is the part where you get to try and, make people laugh or, cry or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, dude. Palestine forever, dude.
Oh, yeah, make people
Long
cry.
live.
¿Quién crees que eres?
Christ in heaven.
All right, man. Well, it's an interesting episode. It's something a little bit different, dude. It's in the living room.
Yeah, we got the gruesome twosome
Gruesome Truesome,
coming
dude.
in here to make you feel, to help you understand what it's like to be an incel.
Be white, dude.
Yeah.
White guilt, white shame, white depression, dude. We got it all, man. But we'll be back next week, dude. Maybe Pedro will be here.
Fuck
What
yeah.
the fuck?
And maybe Nicola, shout out, dude. He's gonna come on. Enemy was glass, great glass work. He was gonna come on this week, but Pedro was, I don't know. I don't want to get into it, dude. It's his story to tell, dude. And we wanted to give Nicola the whole experience of the studio, the drops, and just
Yeah,
have.
he hasn't
that
been here in a
whole-
while, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was on a Zoom show the last time. So I mean,
Yeah.
before that it was just when we were doing like the one camera.
Heck
Not
yeah.
even the Roadcaster and stuff yet.
Yeah,
so
if you're hanging in there with us till right now, still listening to us talk about this, tune in next week because we're going to make it fucking special for Nicola.
we're gonna go wild, dude.
Oh, yeah. dude.
Yo, that's wild, bro.
And with that,
Amor y paz.